Hi, Adam Stark here. Today I am going to be going over my lyrics, breaking them down and transcribing them for my YouTube project called I Cloned Myself for a Rap Battle. This is by far one of my biggest YouTube projects of all time, and this was just a fantasy in which where if I had the real life ability to clone myself, and that clone would have all of the same abilities as me, that what I would do is challenge myself's own freestyle ability by battling myself and by having prepared a written round of myself to see which version of myself would emerge victorious. And of course I added theatrics to the video by making it a match to the death and stuff like that. But yep, this was just a fun way of saying that, you know, I am good at both things. At both writing, very technically skilled, and I am great at freestyling, at bringing things to light in the moment in a very talented and technical way, and by rhyming words together in a skillful fashion, impromptu, off the top, as they say, and not just putting words together that rhyme, but actually doing it in a artistic fashion, you know. So, first things first, I should mention that this was 100% scripted. There was no actual freestyling in this video whatsoever, nothing at all. Okay, I wrote it to make it sound like I was, as the clone, of course, to make it sound like the clone was freestyling, but that was all strategy. That was to make it seem like I was in the video, of course, to play along with the narrative. So I'm going to go ahead here and go through the lyrics one by one, break down any multiple meanings that came with them, and I will go on from there. Okay, so one more thing I should mention is that many of the punchlines in this project are ones that have gone back through the years, all the way back to 2007. Until 2018, okay? And some of these ones, being that old, are just ones that happen to fit the battling narrative of insulting your opponent, and I'd like to have used them for this. And so those ones, if you look at all of these lyrics and you search for them, you will find them back through the years on my work. You will see lines on here that go back all the way back to 2007. So this was, in a way, additionally, just a compilation of punchlines that I've created. Now, obviously, some of these ones were tailor-made specifically for this very video, such as the clone lines and insulting my clone for, you know, various things and stuff. Those ones were obviously written specifically for this project and are brand new to the date of this project being uploaded. But like I said, the vast majority of these lines are ones that go all the way back to 2007, and they can be found on my channel dated and time-stamped for proof, okay? So if any of these lines did sound like something you've heard before or something that you thought sounded outdated currently in 2018, you can certainly look them up and find them on my earlier work to prove that these are stuff that I've used years earlier in perhaps a lot of these cases, okay? Okay, now I'm just going to go over the lyrics word for word. I am not going to actually rap the lyrics as I did in the performance of the video. I'm simply going to read them, go over any of my structuring I wanted to share, any of my writing processes, and any of the multiple meanings that may or may not have made sense upon viewing it the first time around, okay? And any additional information to go along with it. So I'll go chronologically in order here. So round one, this would be on Adam Stark, the original, okay? So this is the lines that I used in the round one of this rap battle, going against my clone. Okay, so round one. And this is how it goes. It goes, I am the original. Bitch and moan all you want. I will taunt you and flaunt too, 'cause I'm the version with vast strength. Any punchlines that come out of this clone's mouth is because of me. If you're wondering why that's strange, I'll teach you my audience. The problem's when, if y'all really feel lines of his, then at that rate, besides myself as an exclusion, to describe everyone else, I define the solution. Think copycat's traits. Okay, so what I'm saying in this line, it's a double meaning, double literal meaning. What I am saying here is, I'm going off and saying that I am the original version of Adam Stark, and I'm going against the clone. And I'm saying that if you guys like the lines that the clone will say, as in I'm predicting the future, I'm predicting the shock value that you're going to like the lines that my clone says, I'm saying just remember, it's really coming from me. So if you cheer for them, you're really cheering for me in a sense, because I am the original version. So you have to give credit where it's due. It's a strategic way, whereas if this was a real matchup that really happened in real life, this is like a strategy of sort of like a deflection and sort of prematurely digging into my opponent's non-existent background and of a sort. So anyways, but on with the double meaning. So one way I'm saying copycat's traits, okay? COPYCAT apostrophe S space TRAITS. Copycat's traits. Now, a copycat, that literally means it is somebody who is doing a near perfect impersonation, or it can also mean like a literal copycat, which also can mean like a clone of some sort, of somebody, or of some animal or something. I'm saying, okay, the thing is, if you really do like this clone, like their work, like the things that they say, then that is copycat's traits, because it's coming from me, really, the original, the clone's words. So if you're liking them, well, that's the copycat's traits, because that a copycat is what they would do. They would leech on to something else successful, copy the formula, and use it upon themselves. And the double meaning here is I'm also saying copycat's traits. COPY space CAT apostrophe S space TRAITS. I'm saying that you copy cat's traits, animal, the cat animal apostrophe S ownership traits. Okay, and the reason that's double meaning, I'm saying if y'all really feel lines of his, now that's a double meaning, but it's a part of the whole picture of a double meaning. That's not a double meaning on its own until you complete the entire rhyme. But what it's saying is, in one sense, if a slang term of saying that you feel something means that you like it, that you appreciate it, that you enjoy that person's lyrics, okay? And so I'm saying, if y'all, which means you all, which means the audience, if you feel lines of his, okay, then remember I'm saying that you like his lines, well, that means you really like it because of me. So give me the credit for liking his lines. You see, it's like I said, I'm prematurely trying to plant in the listeners' heads that I should be the one that gets the credit, not anything that he says, okay? But I'm also, for the double meaning, felines, FELINES, which means cats, okay? I'm saying if y'all really feel lines of his, which means if you are really cats of his, then you know what? You would copy cat's traits. Okay, see how that works as a double meaning there. And also cats in a slang term additionally can just mean a friend. It can mean somebody there, just like some people use dog to refer to another person. It's the same slang for saying somebody is a cat. You know, that is common enough usage and verbiage of slang that I have no problem using it in one of my punchlines. So it's just a double meaning of way of saying that if you really feel lines of his, or if you are literally felines of his, your cats that he owns, then I define the solution for this, which is copycat's traits. Okay? Alright, so let's continue on with the next part of the lyric here, which is really just more of an explanation. I say, if that went over your heads, don't dread. I'm saying y'all feel lines of his, and he's a copycat. Since he's the clone, you copy that. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. It's just me saying that, you know what, he is a copycat, which means he's a clone, okay, as I mentioned before. But I'm saying if y'all are really felines of his, a cat, okay, and then he is a copycat, then he is the clone and you copy that, which means do you understand that? That was just me trying to make this rhyme in the best fashion, and just basically explaining the line in case at the time of hearing the line the first time, in case it went over heads, I'm basically just re-explaining it to make the point very clear of where I was going with that, okay? Now, on to the next line here, okay? I said, if he drops mad raps that's as hot as heated pots and pans, that's just pure deception. We may look exactly alike, but you're insignificant, making you just a mere reflection. Okay, this was an amazing double literal meaning, okay? This is, and this one's pretty simple. I'm pretty sure everybody understood this, but just in case, I'll just go over it. Okay, mere and mirror are basically homophones that sound exactly the same, but they're two different things. Mere, M-E-R-E, means basically insignificant. It means something that is minuscule. It's of importance. It's not something that is important. Okay, and mirror, M-I-R-R-O-R, is obviously that is a figure that you can use as a tool to see the literal reflection that is shining upon its surface. Okay, and a mirror reflection can mean the literal mirror reflection, as in you're looking at an actual mirror, but it is also a metaphor that is commonly used to say, oh, well, that's like, you could say such and such subject is a mere reflection of the economy today, and, so on and so forth. You can use that as a metaphor. And I'm saying, okay, this line was dope to me because, again, it would only apply to a clone, of course, okay, to someone who, and I said specifically in my setup, we may look exactly alike, but you're insignificant, okay? So you looking exactly the same as me would make you a mere reflection. And I said, you're insignificant, okay? Means that you are just a mere, M-E-R-E, reflection. You're not an important reflection. You're just merely a reflection of me. You are not me. You're not as talented as me. You're just merely a reflection. You suck by comparison, but you also look exactly alike, as I mentioned in the setup. So you are a mirror reflection. So this was a dope double meaning, probably the easiest one to figure out here, but I still would love to have no problem explaining it here forth. And like I said, it could only have applied in this situation. Okay, now next here, my body of work is a landscape of astounding greatness. Even if you put my life's achievements on paper, collect boulders, and become a landscaper, still won't be in your favor because Xerox couldn't copy my foundation. Okay, now this is an older line of mine. This one goes back a few years, and you can find it throughout my work. This exact line, yes. Now, this is another way of me dissing the clone. This just happened to work out, even though this was a much older lyric, this happened to work out in this specific situation, so I took advantage of that. So what I'm saying here is, okay, my body of work is extensive, and it speaks for itself because it's very talented works of art, and, wordplay mechanics and breaking down the barriers of the English language, all sorts of things that I've done throughout my career and proven scientifically that I'm very proud of. Okay, and I'm saying, you know what, even if you, the clone, even if you put all of my life's achievements on paper, you collected boulders, become a landscaper, it still will not help you in the end, okay? Because not even Xerox could copy my foundation. Now, Xerox, X-E-R-O-X, that is a copier machine. It's a device that copies things and prints them out. It is a device that is used if you need to fax something and you need an exact copy of those documents, you would use a Xerox machine, for example. And also, it happens to rhyme perfectly with "cuz you're rocks," a little bit of slang, but commonly used slang, so that's why I have no problem using it. "Cuz you're rocks," C-U-Z, as in because, but the slang version, just "cuz," and then space "you are," or "your," which is common enough slang for "your," and then space "rocks," R-O-C-K-S. And I said that because I mentioned specifically, if you put my achievements on paper, collected boulders, become a landscaper. I'm saying your rocks that you collect couldn't copy my foundation. As in, a literal foundation of mine couldn't be copied, even if you became a landscaper, damn it. I'm saying that's just how much better I am than you, that even if you became a landscaper, my foundation cannot be copied by someone of the likes of you, my clone. But I'm also saying that Xerox, which is a known copier device, couldn't copy my foundation. Just nothing you do is going to add up to me, because I am that much better than you, dissing my clone, okay? Alright, the next lyrics here. I'll make you bleed just to make you clean it, I'm fierce. I don't want blood on my floor. I'll make you use your tongue because you are dumb. Anyone think this is weird? I'll explain. Don't look at me, and we can all watch this duplicate up here. Okay, this line was made specifically for this battle. I love this line so much. This one was just, it's funny, and it's a double literal meaning again. I just keep going with these amazing punchlines. So, at the end here, here's where the double meaning comes in. Duplicate up here, and dupe-lick it up here. It works perfectly. It sounds exactly alike, but it's two different things. Duplicate, D-U-P-L-I-C-A-T-E, space U-P, space H-E-R-E. And dupe-lick it up here, D-U-P-E, space L-I-C-K, space I-T, space U-P, space H-E-R-E. Those are me saying that, you know what is another word for clone? As I'm going over all the punchlines that I came up with that are specifically tailored to this situation, to this exact battle, this project, is me making fun of you for being a clone and saying that you are nothing compared to me because you're just a copy. And another word for those is duplicate, okay? And so I call you a duplicate because that's what you are. You are not the one. You are the duplicate of myself. And I said that you are dumb. I mentioned that specifically. I said you're dumb. I said I don't want blood on my floor. And I said that you're going to use your tongue to clean the blood on my floor. I said that, and I said you're dumb. So what are you? You are going to be the dupe that has to lick it up, okay? But I'm also saying not to look at me, and we can all watch this duplicate, okay? He is the duplicate. You're not going to look at me. I mentioned that specifically, which means you're obviously going to look at the duplicate. And I also said that he is dumb, so you're going to watch the dupe lick it up here. So that's where the double literal meaning comes in here. Just amazing. I really love this line. I think this one went over well by everybody that heard it the first time, but just in case, I thought I explained it a little more clearly. Okay, now the next here, this is an older line. This one is all the way back from 2013 or 2014, I believe, one of the two. This was a long time ago, and you can find it. This one's from my song called I'm a Winner. Okay, I said, when you're in the ambulance on life support, I'll risk getting pulled over just to cut you off. That's a double meaning. You're dead, rookie. We'll call you the 6 feet underdog. Okay, so what I love about this line that I wrote all those years ago is that it's two double meanings in a row. The first one is a technically talented double meaning, double literal meaning, and the second one is a funny double meaning. It's a double implied meaning, not a literal. There's not literally two meanings. It's just a funny double meaning, okay? It's a comedic timing one. So for one, I'm saying if you're in the ambulance on life support, I'd risk getting pulled over to cut you off. Now, if you are going to cut off an ambulance, that is risking getting pulled over. You don't do that. As anybody's stupid enough to try it, watch what happens, okay? You are risking getting pulled over because you can't do that. You cannot cut in front of an emergency vehicle, okay? And I'm saying if you were on life support, that I would risk getting pulled over also to cut you off of what? Life support. I want to cut you off of life support, which would make you dead. And I'm saying that I would risk getting pulled over to cut off an ambulance anyway, even though would be putting myself in danger of getting pulled over because it's an illegal motion on the road. But for both reasons. So that's just easy to understand. I'm pretty sure everybody understood it, but that's a dope double meaning there. And then I mentioned that's a double meaning in the following lyric. And then I said, you're dead, rookie. We'll call you the 6 feet underdog. Okay, to be called an underdog is slang, common slang that means you're a rookie. It means you're the new guy or whatever, okay? And also, I'm saying if you're dead, a common saying or phrase for being dead is to say that they're 6 feet under, because that's the measurement of being buried under the ground when you die and you get a tombstone and so on and so forth at the graveyard. Okay, so to be 6 feet under, but then also saying that you're the underdog. So we'll just combine both terms by saying we'll call you the 6 feet underdog. Okay, so it's just a funny double implied meaning, not a literal double meaning, but just a funny one. And it's just my funny way of saying that since you're new here, the clone obviously is going to be a rookie just by definition. Okay, continuing on here. I said, that was like a compliment. No more false hope. Although I'll bet discovering a dope rhyme of yours is as difficult as finding a hatless Waldo in a crowd of all bald folks. Okay, so what I'm saying here is, by giving you a compliment is basically like saying, okay, you're a rookie, and it's like that's already too much of a nice thing to say, because you're not even that. You're dirt. You're dead to me, okay? And I'm saying no more false hope, such as saying something nice about you. And then I'm saying, okay, to find a good rhyme of yours is so hard, I would be better off trying to find a hatless Waldo in a crowd of all bald folks. Where's Waldo was a common character in a book where there is a lot of people on the pictures, and you had to try and find one guy in that crowd of pictures, and they're very small people. And so you try to find Waldo. Where's Waldo? And I said, to make it even worse, a hatless Waldo, and the whole crowd is all bald people. So that would be immensely difficult. You would be hard-pressed to be able to find it very easily. I'm saying, like, my goodness, it'd be harder to find one of your dope rhymes than it would to find a hatless Baldo, a bunch of people that all look the same being bald, okay? Pretty easy there, just a funny punchline, dissing the opponent. Okay, continuing on here. Torture you, tie you to a chair till you starve, let you choose to order hors d'oeuvres or dirt. You believe there's a chance to move forwards for sure. You wouldn't want to expect the choice of starvation or dirt. So you would choose the choice of pursuing foods I offered you, but notice something tastes extra saturated? Well, just when you thought you had a chance to live, the food was secretly contaminated. Okay, so this is dope. This is an old line. This one's from 2013 that I wrote, actually. I just switched up some of the wording very slightly, but it's the same punchline, same principles, and the lines end the same way. But this one is saying, this is how I'm going to torture you. It's in a very creative way. Okay, I'm going to tie you to a chair, which means you can't leave, of course, till you starve. And once you starve, then I let you choose to order hors d'oeuvres, which is foods, like finger foods, or dirt, okay? Now, anybody in their right mind, why would they choose dirt to eat over some sort of food? So, I'm saying that, okay, you believe there's a chance to move forwards for sure, because you wouldn't want to choose something that would continue your starvation, and you're not going to choose to eat the dirt, so you would choose between the foods that I am offering you, because you don't want to continue to starve. But then you notice something tastes wrong, extra saturated, as I put it. Well, and then to make it just worse, to add even more insult to injury, just when you thought you had a chance to live, because you're actually feeding yourself instead of starving, that food you ate, instead of picking the dirt, the food that you ate instead was secretly contaminated. Keyword secretly. So that is the worst way of figuring out that you're going to die is, well, cheapers, you thought you were going to continue living for at least some point longer than you already were. And what happened? Your food was secretly contaminated, so you died anyway when you had a higher hope of living, which is just a crazy insult. And I just want to mention also, I love at the beginning, all the way back in 2013 when I made this punchline, how I said, I'll let you choose to order hors d'oeuvres or dirt. It has like the same first 3 letters, basically, those, and it has the same sounding first 4 or 5 letters. I love it. I love the way that I came up with that one. Okay, now I'm going to continue to the next line here. I said, I'm very scientific with my internal teachings. I'm not a priest, but at the last moment of recognition, there's few neural readings. Okay, this line I wrote back in 2014 in a rap called Irregular Rap. Okay, so this line is me saying a double literal meaning that at the last moment of someone's life, what would you do as a priest, and what would you do at the last moment of their recognizing their life? You would do funeral readings. Okay, that's what you do when you are preparing somebody to be buried at a funeral. You go through the funeral readings. You read stuff about their life and about the afterlife and so on and so forth. But I'm also saying, if we're being literal, okay, at the last moment of your life, as in, but not talking about getting buried, but your last moment of your literal life, as in before you literally pass away and die and your heart stops beating permanently and everything, you hear the last couple heartbeats and your last couple breaths that you take and all that sad stuff. I'm saying that there is funeral readings, okay? And funeral and the two-word conjunction funeral readings sound exactly the same, okay? Neural readings is, of course, medical lingo, medical terminology. And when you have just a few neural readings, that means you're almost gone. You're almost out of here. You're about to be dead. Okay, so just a dope double literal meaning there. Okay, continuing on here. Not to mention your life was pathetic to begin with, but thanks to my cruelest plot, since you just became into existence, technically you're a 25-year-old virgin. Well, my dick has been used lots like car dealerships. My dick is used a lot like movie props. My dick has circulated and been used a lot like a nudie shot. Okay, this is just, you got to think about how sinister this is. I am saying, since my clone just became into existence merely not long before this video started, okay, I'm saying, technically speaking, since they're a clone of me, and I'm 25 years old at the time of this video, okay, then since they just became into existence now, and they are my age, 25, then they haven't done anything at all in life. So technically that would include having sex. So I'm saying that they are a 25-year-old virgin. I'm laughing at them. I am emasculating them. I am, taking them down a few notches of their pride. And I'm saying not only does that mean you are technically a virgin at your age of 25, which is highly embarrassing. I am saying that while that's going on, me personally, I had been getting around throughout my life, is what I'm saying. And by one way of saying this, I'm saying that my dick has been used lots, okay, and I make a funny comparison by saying like car dealerships. Car dealerships have lots of cars, and I mean lots of cars as in many cars, but also a parking lot of cars and parking lots of cars, and a lot of them are used cars, and used lots is a way of saying that there is a lot many different variety, therefore, of cars that have been used, that are not brand new. And I'm also saying in a comparative way, in a simile, that is also like my dick used a lot, okay? And then I also continue to keep going with the embarrassment by saying my dick is used a lot like movie props. Well, movie props are used a ton. You watch a movie, you will see props in them, and that's a common occurrence with basically almost every film in history. And I'm also saying that my dick has been circulated and used a lot like a nudie shot, as in it gets around, period. Okay, as in if something circulates, that means it's going to make it far and wide. And like a nudie shot, well, what would a nudie shot be a picture of? Obviously, me being naked. So I'm saying that, yeah, you are pathetically someone who just came into existence, 25 years old. You're a virgin. That sucks to be you. And I had been doing the exact opposite, very promiscuous throughout my life, okay? Just a very, very aggressively angry statement at emasculating my opponent and embarrassing them. And it's just showing that much evil, that much hatred for the clone, and that much more effective in this fantasy battle environment, okay? All right, continuing on here. I said, your trash-ass round coming up will be entirely defective. the only time I'd stop being a dick is if I retired as a detective. Okay, so this is just me saying that what you're about to rap is going to be stupid. It's going to be horrible, okay? It's going to be defective, as in you're going to deny things I say because you're going to be freestyling. So you're going to deflect away from the punchlines and the things that I said to you. And I said the only time I would stop being a dick, which means being a rude person is slang for being a dick, is if I retired as a detective. And a slang term for a detective is called a dick. If somebody is a detective, there's many movies, references of pop culture, of course, where a detective is a dick or just dick. Okay, so I'm saying that's the only way I'd stop doing that is if I was a dick as in a detective and I retired from that job. Okay, forthwith. All right, now we'll continue here. Dissing you using the same exact 5 syllables. As far as your speed mentally, not even your crawl's pace is slower. As far as intelligence, not even your crawl space is lower. This is just a dope line. This line goes back. This was one that I wrote years ago as well. This was in 2014, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, this one is me. I found a way to combine those syllables, those 5 syllables, and you just have to move over one of the S's, and it becomes an entirely different sentence, but it uses the same letters. It camouflages one letter S. So you have to do a double letter S in one of them. But it has, besides that, the same letters literally, and it does have the same exact sound to it. 100% the same sound to it. Just one extra letter S, which is camouflaged the sound of into one letter S in the second example. Your crawls, as in you're crawling, your crawls pace is slower. Okay, so I'm saying your speed mentally, I'm saying you're so dumb that you know what's not even the rate of speed that you crawl, not even that is slower. I'm saying you're mentally you're even slower than your crawling pace that you can go to, your speed. And as far as intelligence, not even your crawl space is lower. Now, a crawl space in the homes that I have lived in, it is at the very bottom of the house, and it is where there is it's literally touching the ground. It's on the ground, and it is underneath stairs. It is underneath the basement. You have to open up like a creepy door to get into it, and that's what a crawl space is. It's that low. It is below your feet low. And I'm saying not even your crawl space is lower than what your intelligence is. And so not only is those good disses together already, but they are also using the same exact 5 syllables and the same letters, minus the fact that there is one more letter S. So it is just very talented writing right there. Okay, continuing on here. I'll hurt you worse than a paper cut from a greater pay stub before cashing in from making bucks. Okay, this line was just a few months ago in a rap of mine called Rap is an Artifact. Okay, so this is just a multi-layered diss. It's one thing to say that I'll hurt you worse than a paper cut. Okay, paper cuts hurt, and they're annoying, and they piss you off, and they ruin everything. Paper cuts are not comfortable. And I'm saying, I'll hurt you worse than that, but not only that, I keep getting worse. I said, I'll hurt you worse than a paper cut from not only just a pay stub, as in a pay stub from a paycheck of mine, I'm saying a greater pay stub, as in I'm going to hurt you worse than a paper cut, so physical pain, and on top of that, emotional pain from doing it with a pay stub from mine that is going to be greater than any money that you can accumulate. Okay? So it's just a multi-layered diss, and that's what makes this a very dope line to me. Okay? And then continuing here, also a line from my rap called Rap is an Artifact from a few months ago. How badly will I fuck your face up? Equal to or greater than becoming crazed up. A rough embrace from a grenade thud. Crush your frame such to custom-made fudge. Crumbling 8 cups to the point it looks like an inverted funnel cake does. So this is just a fancy way of saying, okay, you are about to get your face fucked up horribly. It's going to hurt. It is going to be dented. It is going to be decimated. It is going to definitely be harmed in a very bad way. And I'm saying, and comparatively, how bad? I'm saying, okay, it's going to be worse than if your face got grazed up and it got a rough embrace from a grenade thud. Okay, hit with a grenade, for God's sakes. That's going to ruin your face. And I will crush its frame such, to compare it to, of course, to custom-made fudge crumbling 8 cups. So in other words, when you are baking custom-made fudge and you got 8 cups of crumbs, okay, imagine if your face right now it's put together, imagine it looks like crumbs, and tiny crumbs to the point you make 8 cups of it, okay, and to the point it looks like an inverted funnel cake does. Well, an inverted funnel cake, it looks like it is a chunk of it's missing. Those ones look like there is a giant dent in them, okay, so that's how badly you're going to get physically harmed, okay, talking to my clone. Continuing here, I can tell that there's jealousy without embellishing that you've become all bitter. Try and transcribe this story before it's delivered. Okay, now this line I'm about to read is from a rap called I Fight for My Respect, and this was in 2016. Okay, I have a beautiful girl puppy. I'll hand you a large picture, pull out a shotty and buck shots to permanently put you to sleep. Translation, you got bucks to watch her and say goodnight, you're a dog sitter. Okay, so this is a very dope punchline. This is an amazing comparison. I love this line. I don't often do gun bars. I don't often do gun lines, gun punchlines, not just because they're overdone, but because I can understand to an extent why it's not even respected that much anymore. And it also always depends on the person. See, I prefer not using them because they are so overly done. So when I do use them, I make it creative on purpose. I make it extremely creative when I use a gun in a rhyme. Okay? So in this example, I'm saying, if I literally hand you a large picture of a girl puppy, okay, and then I pull out a shotgun and buck shots. Okay, shotty is slang for shotgun. I'm pretty sure that's obvious, but just in case someone didn't know. And I buck shots, which means I'm shooting my shotgun ammunition to permanently put you to sleep. Now, to permanently put someone to sleep, that is slang. That means to kill them, okay? Permanently put someone... a permanent sleep means to die. That is slang. That's commonly used. And then I explain my translation. You got bucks, which means bucks as in money, bucks, and it also means buck shots as in ammo from a shotgun. You got bucks to watch her. I gave you a large picture of a girl puppy, so you're going to look at that picture of her, the puppy, and then say goodnight. As I said, you're permanently going to sleep, which means you're going to die, and going to sleep, you say goodnight to go to sleep. And then I said, well, if I'm going to give you bucks to watch her and say goodnight, pow, like shotgun, get them, then you're a dog sitter. Because what would a dog sitter do? They would get paid bucks to watch the dog and then say goodnight. That's what she would do as a dog sitter. But I'm also literally saying that you're going to get shot by my shotgun ammo to say goodnight permanently because you're going to go to permanent sleep. Then you're like a dog sitter. So it's a very dope gun bar punchline and a dope comparison, okay? All right, next up here, I have a compilation of knife bars, the best knife offensive punchlines that I have made over my career. I decided this would be a good way to showcase it, in this example, by bringing it alive into this project of a fantasy rap battle, okay? Because, once again, I said, guns are overly used. It's just a common fact. So I decided, okay, instead I'm going to use my best knife bars, because they're not common, they're not uncommon, but they're not common, and I have done an amazing job making very talented ones, in my personal opinion. As far as technical skill, I have made amazing ones. So allow me to go through them here as I did in the battle, okay? I said, knife bars. I announce it, okay? I should clone you again and wait till his placement is adjacent. Stab you both in the backs, and where the pieces I cut off, I could make an arrangement. What's Adam thinking? May convert a bracelet. May convert a bracelet, get it? Okay, so this is one of my favorite double meanings I've ever written by far. Okay, I said I had to kill more than one person in this for this punchline to work. So I added the line, because this was just a few months ago from my song called Rap is an Artifact, okay? But I added a few words to this, okay? Because you have to kill multiple people for this punchline to work. You can't just kill one. And so I said, if I cloned you, my clone, again, I would wait till that clone's clone, till they are next to you, so that till his placement of him is adjacent. Adjacent means right next to you. I would wait till that happens. Stab both of you in the backs, okay, with the knife. And then the pieces I cut off from your backs, the skin, the body tissue and everything, I could make an arrangement. And so what am I thinking? Makin' vertebrae's slit, which is, here's the double literal meaning, okay? So makin' vertebrae's slit, M-A-K-I-N apostrophe, slang, instead of using the word making, I take the G off and use it at makin', commonly used slang in many words that we use in rap songs. We take the letter G off the end, and it can make a different sounding ending to a word. Makin' vertebrae's slit, V-E-R-T-E-B-R-A-E apostrophe S space S-L-I-T. A vertebrae is somebody's back, and I am making vertebrae's become slit. Slit, it means to cut, it means to stab, it means to cut through. I'm saying I am going to stab you in the back. So as I mentioned, I'm making vertebrae's become slit. But I am also saying I could take the pieces I cut off, make an arrangement, which would be doing what? What could Adam be thinking? May convert a bracelet. If I'm going to cut off pieces of you and I want to wear it around my wrist, I would be converting a bracelet. I'd be making myself a bracelet. See, it's just an amazing double literal meaning. Makin' vertebrae's slit and may convert a bracelet. It's just an amazing double literal meaning, and it applies with knife bars, knife punchline here, and I used it very well, and I had to make a clone's clone to make it work out perfectly the way that the rhyme is supposed to sound, okay? Phonetically speaking, and so on and so forth. And then I simply explain thoroughly forward after that I mentioned it what I was trying to get at, in case people missed it the first time around. Okay, continuing on here. I'll take a sharp turn with a dull knife, as I have an insurmountable, insane thirst to draw blood like a shotgun to your neck, like a beer can drinking game, till your pigment changes and the wound's bigger than a broken piggy bank is, and I mix powder to make it a citrus-tasting drink creation simulation. Okay, so first of all, just a little bit of wordplay at the beginning. I said I'll take a sharp turn with a dull knife. Sharp and dull, those are antonyms, opposites. You know, it's just a little wordplay, nothing too crazy, but just to spice the line up a little bit. And I am saying that I'm out for blood. I am thirsty for blood, okay? And so I have an insurmountable, insane thirst to draw blood. I need it, okay? And a shotgun is also slang, like a beer can drinking game. It means you poke a hole in the side of the beer can and you drink from that hole. And I'm saying I would do that to your neck. I would put a hole in your neck and just drink the blood right there. And I would wait until the wound is so big, it's bigger than a broken piggy bank. A wound, to be, what's the biggest type of wound you can possibly think of? There's, not many things that come to mind, certainly. But a broken piggy bank, that would mean it would be like 100% wounded, because it would be, every single piece would be broken, of course. So that's, a broken piggy bank is literally the biggest possible wound I personally can think of. And I'm saying your neck is, the wound from that damage from the knife is going to be even bigger than a broken piggy bank is. And then what I'm saying is also, I would mix powder with your blood to make it a citrus-tasting drink creation simulation. That's exactly the detail of how powerful I go to say that I'm out for blood, literally and figuratively, and I am going to get it from you. Okay? Just a very talented line, a lot of good wordplay and rhyming structuring here that I created. And that line was back from 2016. From the rap called Don't Even Think About It. Okay? All right, continuing on here. I love all my switchblades I use with ease. When I'm stabbing, it's like a mousetrap. When my metal's sprung, you get caught and turn over looking like Swiss cheese. Okay, this line goes back many years, actually. This is an old one. I'm not 100% sure what the year was. It might have been 2013 or 2014, but it is on my YouTube, time-stamped and verifiable if you want to check it out yourself. Anyways, so what I'm saying with this line is I'm comparing the art of me stabbing you with a knife to being like a mousetrap. Because when my metal sprung, as in my switchblade of my knife, is the metal from that is sprung, so the knife gets sprung out, you get caught, and then in a mousetrap, when the metal springs, you will get caught, and then turn over looking like Swiss cheese. So the victim will turn over, as in they will fall to the ground, turning over, and Swiss cheese is obviously cheese that has a lot of holes in it. So you would have a lot of holes in you, the victim, being that you were stabbed multiple times. And I'm also saying, similar to a mousetrap, when you start on one end of the mousetrap and then you get caught and turned over due to the metal being sprung and the trap mechanism deployed, you will turn over physically, and then what is going to be on top of you? The Swiss cheese. I'm saying if I put Swiss cheese on a trap, that's what's going to be on top of you. The mouse, that is, excuse me. So it's just a cool way of saying that I can comparatively, creatively say what my stabbing method is like. It's just like a mousetrap, explaining how that works, okay? All right, continuing on here. Besides you, I got another enemy in my pocket. In my pocket. Everyone knows to keep my enemies close, so here's the prospect. My knife ain't my friend, but I concentrate and watch as it wants to give you hickeys. My focus is on your neck. So this is a double meaning. This one was back in 2016 from this line from a rap called I Fight for My Respect. Okay, so I'm saying it's the double meanings right at the end, okay? My foe kisses on your neck, and my focus is on your neck, okay? So my foe, a foe, F-O-E, means an enemy. It means they are not your friend, they are your enemy. And I said my knife is not my friend. I said that very clearly in my setup. So I can call my knife my foe. And I said specifically, it wants to give you hickeys. Hickeys are kisses on your neck that are particularly rough kisses. And that is what a hickey is. And I'm saying my foe, as in my knife, is going to kiss on your neck. Well, the one thing you wouldn't want to kiss is a knife. That's going to hurt. But that's what I'm saying is going to happen. But I also specifically said in my setup, I concentrate and watch as it, as in my knife, wants to give you hickeys. So where is my focus on? My focus is on your neck. So it's just a crazy double meaning because it sounds exactly the same, both sentences, and I set it up perfectly for this to be a double literal meaning and another knife bar at that. Okay? All right, continuing on here. Okay. I decided to wrap this one really fast. I said, you may hate how my violence is formidably foreshadowing what is certainly concerning ya. The same knife I just used, I'll slime with lube, freezing it into your organs like hypothermia, excuse me. Now, the double meaning here comes with for, easing, and the word freezing. If you say it fast enough at the right tempo, you can make it sound exactly the same. Okay? If you put anything with lube, okay, it is going to make it easier to ease into wherever it's going, okay? And I am saying that I'm going to use it to make it ease its way into your organs, because I want the knife to get up in there, and I want it to get into your organs and kill you in this example of this knife bar. And I'm also saying, as just a dope concept, okay, freezing it into your organs, as in the coldness is burying its way all the way down into your organs. What is that example of? That's hypothermia. That's when the cold is so severe it is physically damaging you on the inside and outside. And so freezing it into your organs as if it was hypothermia, it's a simile. But I'm also saying that the lube is helping with what? Helping for easing it into your organs. So just a dope concept on that one. Let me continue here. Okay, and then for here, this is my quintuple literal meaning. This is from I Don't Write With Rules. This was just a few months ago, okay, this line. And this is yet another knife punchline, okay, that I have. And this one has 5 literal meanings to it, okay? And so I wanted to put at least one of my 5 literal meanings into this battle, because I wanted it to be one of the highlights of the original Adam Stark's round, because he's the one that's doing the writing round, not the freestyle round, which would be the clones response freestyle round. And I wanted this to be a highlight of saying, see, I'm going to hit you with a quintuple literal meaning, 5 meanings in one rhyme, which is something that you could never do, talking to the clone, of course. And when I said this specifically, because when people would be scoring this battle afterwards for who won, one thing they're certainly going to put in my favor, in my direction, is that, well, the clone certainly isn't going to have a 5 literal meaning line because they're freestyling. It's just not going to happen. And so they would definitely score some points in my direction for having one. Anyways, I set it up by mentioning that I'm doing a quintuple entendre because I wanted people to be ready and aware for what was happening and to listen a little more closely. So anyways, here is the lyrics, okay? I said, now you can tell people what I did to you by kindly reciting my quintuple entendre. 5 implied meanings in one line to bomb ya. My friend my age always stays way high over the shore by these pillars I'm at, and he's a stabber. So for your safety, listen to my answer while you look in my specific direction and location. The problem appears hazard. So 5 literal meanings. Okay, it is, for one, a Peers hazard, P-E-E-R''S, hazard. Appears hazard, A-P-P-E-A-R-S, hazard. Up here's hazard, U-P space H-E-R-E''S, hazard. A Peers hazard, A space P-I-E-R''S, hazard. And a Pierce hazard, A space P-I-E-R-C-E, hazard. Okay, 5 meanings. I said that my friend my age. And so what could I possibly diagnose this as? A peers hazard, a peer. A peer is somebody that is your age, okay? I said, so a peers hazard, or around your age, excuse me. But, so a peers hazard. And I said, now the problem itself, you could say it appears hazard, because that is a hazard is a generic way of describing a situation. And so I said the problem appears hazard. That is one way of describing this. You could simply end everything by saying, here's the problem, it's a hazard. Okay? I am also saying, I said, I'm way up here. And I said, look in my specific direction and location. So since I'm up here above you, and you have to look in my specific direction, then it would be up here's hazard. Because up here in my direction is where the hazard is. And so I set it up by mentioning that. And I said that I am way high over the shore by these pillars. That is a pier. Okay, a P-I-E-R. That is what a pier is. So that would also make this a pier's hazard. A hazard at this pier. This specific pier has a hazard here because of my friend who's a stabber. And also, to stab somebody literally also is to pierce them with the knife. So it is a pierce hazard. That's the type of hazard this is. It's a piercing hazard because that's what the knife would do. It would pierce you. So that's specifically saying what this hazard is. Okay? So that's my 5 literal meanings, and it's a knife bar on top of that. And it is just my way of saying, yep, look at this. I have all that. And I know for a fact that my clone freestyling is just never going to happen where they are going to have a 5 literal meaning line, but I did. So this is going to score some points in my direction for the people that would end up judging this match, okay? Anyways, now I'll continue up here. I said, I just committed murder on camera for the sake of a made-up grudge. Most of us can't believe I'm insane enough and brave enough to say this stuff. A starving cannibal would hate my guts. Okay, this is me mentioning that this is a fake fantasy project. and that I just committed murder on camera. I just destroyed my opponent for the sake of a made-up grudge, because I said no fight is worthless. Every fight has meaning to it. Every fight is going to be fought with me trying my hardest, okay? And I'm saying, you can't believe I just said all of these horribly evil things. Talented as they were horribly evil, okay? With horrible intent. It's fictional, yes, but with horrible fictional intent, okay? You can't believe I'm brave enough to say all of that stuff, all those things. And I said, you know who would hate my guts is, well, I'm saying everybody would hate my guts, that I have murder on my mind in this fictional example. But I said, even a starving cannibal would hate my guts. A cannibal eats people, and that includes their guts. I'm saying not only a cannibal would hate my guts, but one that is starving. That's saying something. That's levels. If a cannibal is starving, they're really hungry, and they eat people, even they would hate my guts, and they're starving, that says a lot. And that one line, a starving cannibal would hate my guts, that is from a 2013 song of mine called I'm a Winner. Okay? Now on the last line that I end this with, whether you want to witness me suffering or toast to celebrate my campaign, after all of your broke asses threats, remember one thing, you'll never bring the champ pain. That is a double meaning, a double literal meaning. I'm saying that if you want to toast to celebrate, which would be done with what? Champagne. I'm saying you're too broke, so you're not going to be able to afford champagne, because obviously champagne is associated with money. And I'm saying also, even if you want to witness me suffering, you will never bring me, the champ, pain. You will never bring me pain. I will never become harmed due to you. That will not happen. So it's just a double meaning. That was from a song back in 2014, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's early 2014 of mine. And that is a song called My Shot. Okay? And I want to make this a point. This is the end of the original Adam Starks round one of this fantasy rap battle. And I want to make one point very clear. I purposely made the ending a lot better in the clones round. Why? I made it better on there purposely because the clones round is the last round of the battle in the video. And so I always like a good ending. I prefer a great ending, of course. So the ending had to be better, of course, in the whoever is going last. Whoever's going to speak and rap last, they have to have the best ending between the two. That is just my personal opinion of philosophy, since everything about this video is scripted from the first place. I did make my clone purposely have a better ending, as you will see from here, than I did with the original Adam Stark, because he went first. Okay, now let me go all the way up here, and I will go through the clone's lyrics. Okay. Almost ready here. Okay, and then this is my clone, and this is, again, everything in this video that I did was 100% scripted. I just wrote it to make it sound like it was freestyling, it was rebuttaling, it was impromptu, coming up with disses and punchlines on the spot, it was making observations on the spot, in the moment, off the top and everything, but it was actually 100% scripted in case anybody was curious. No actual freestyling was done in this video. It was written to sound like that because, as I said before, in real life, if I did this, I would want to test my freestyle ability. I'd want to see how I would react in this situation, being put on the spot to battle somebody who has written an entire, verse of disses against me. I'd want to see how I would react. Okay. And so I start off the round by instantly mentioning the situation and freestyling about it, because it would be something to get the crowd be on my side. So let's go on with the lyrics now on the clone, okay? So, forcing me to freestyle when you already prepared, I'm at disadvantaged odds. He knew he had no chance in a fair fight. This is sabotage. Very dope, I love that line. I love how I started this one. I'm mentioning the obvious. I'm bringing out the elephant in the room, as the saying goes. That, okay, this guy that's battling me, he had time to prepare a whole round, and I didn't. So I'm at a disadvantage, and my odds are disadvantaged. They're not in my favor. And I said, dang, must have, I'd spin it against him to make it look worse for him. I said, yeah, he must have knew he had no chance in a fair fight. He never gave me chance and time to write rhymes down against him. So I said, this is sabotage. I'm saying this guy he must have been a pussy. He must have been scared. He must have thought he had no chance to actually win fairly. So he would have to sabotage it in his favor of winning by rigging it against me. So just a very dope way to get the crowd on my side, and to see, like, look at this. I came here to win this fight, no matter what's thrown at me, and I'm going to prove how it was whack and stupid for my opponent, theoretically, of course, to write a bunch of rhymes against me and not give me time to prepare. I'm saying I'm going to mention that right away. Okay, continuing here. And there was a loud, fictional, of course, but there was a loud crowd reaction sound that I added right after that part. And that's important only because I mentioned this line here. I said, see, a good freestyle rebuttal is smoking gun evidence. Taking the steam out of your round is as easy as I make a blow sound, okay, in the actual thing. Okay, so I'm saying, because the crowd cheers, and I'm mentioning that to them, I say, see, as in talking to the crowd, a good freestyle rebuttal is smoking gun evidence. Now, smoking gun evidence, that right there is slang, common slang, and it means it is the end-all, be-all. It is the literal proof that you needed for something. So, a smoking gun, it comes from like a detective story where if somebody shot somebody else and they saw the gun that did it and the smoke was still coming out of the gun, well, obviously that's the killer. Okay, that's what smoking gun evidence comes from. But it's used in many different things. Smoking gun evidence can mean, okay, this is 100% the proof that you needed for something, okay? And I'm saying a good freestyle rebuttal that I just did. It's smoking gun evidence that to take the steam out of your round was as easy as blowing, okay? And what that means is to take the steam out of your round is battle rap slang and hip-hop. That means all that crowd reaction you just got, all the hype that you just got around you and your rap round, I just took all that away from you because I just did one good freestyle rebuttal about it, and that's all it took. That was all I needed to take the steam, the power, the hype away from your side of the spectrum and bring it on to me. And it's also a double implied meaning, because I'm saying smoking gun evidence, a smoking gun, what are you going to do? You're going to take the steam out of the round by blowing off the end of the gun, which you see commonly in, cartoons and old movies and stuff. There's smoke and steam coming out of the gun barrel. You're going to go, you're going to blow the end of it, blow it away. Of course, it's like like an action. And so I'm saying taking the steam out of your round, well, if you let off a round of a gun and the gun is a smoking gun, as I mentioned, then you just have to get the steam out of that round of the chamber of your gun, you're just going to blow literally. And I'm saying that was as easy as taking the steam out of your round as in taking the hype away. The crowd's favoring you away from you. Okay? So just a dope little pretend freestyle there. And that line is a few years old. That line goes back, I don't know if it was, I'm not sure what year it was. It was at least 2 years or older. That line from a previous song I wrote, okay? Continuing here. Your directions are all over the place like your uncontrolled emotions. Damn, so first you said you didn't want blood on your floor. Then you stabbed me like 80 fucking times. But what I've grown to notice is, well, damn, you couldn't keep your story straight if you were homophobic. Okay, so this was another freestyle rebuttal in the moment. With the way that I scripted it, of course. I am saying here that your directions that you give me, because you're giving me a bunch of orders throughout your eps, you've been telling me do this, do that, you do this, you do that. I'm saying your directions are all over the place, and I'm doing a simile. I'm saying like your uncontrolled emotions. I'm calling you an emotional person, which is disrespectful. And I'm saying, okay, first you told me you don't want blood on your floor, but then later on in that same rap, you stabbed me a bunch of times, with your knife bars. So, in other words, you're contradicting yourself. You're being hypocritical big time. And I'm saying, so what I've found out from this is that you couldn't keep your story straight. okay? You couldn't keep your story straight means you couldn't stick to, where you wanted to go with it. You couldn't keep it the way you wanted it to be. You couldn't keep it simple and to the point, and you confuse us. And I'm saying also you couldn't keep your story straight if you were homophobic. To be homophobic means that you are scared of homosexuals, and therefore you would be straight. And I'm saying, dang, even if you were a homophobic, you couldn't keep your story straight. That's how bad it is, okay? Because if you were homophobic, you'd keep everything straight. I'm saying you couldn't even keep your story straight if the case would be of you being homophobic. So just a dope little pretend freestyle moment there as well. And you couldn't keep your story straight if you were homophobic. I'm pretty sure that was in 2014 when I wrote that one, okay? All right, continuing down here. I will disregard your rules and orders, and I don't come in peace. I oppose your directions. Better not look at me sideways. Bitch, if you say I'm going down, that's up to me. I know I actually performed that slightly different in the actual video. And I apologize, I don't have those lyrics up here. But this is basically what I said, okay? And this is from 2016 from a rap called Don't Even Think About It. I love this line. I'm saying that I oppose your directions, okay? Now, directions means your orders. You're telling me to do this. You're giving me directions. Clone do this, clone do that. I'm saying I'm going to oppose those directions, okay? But also directions can mean specifically where are you looking? Where are you trying to go to? Your directions. Are you going straight? Are you going forward, backwards, left, right, or, so on and so forth. And I'm saying, okay, I oppose your directions, so better not look at me sideways. Sideways is a direction, but it is also slang for, to look at someone sideways is slang for eyeballing me, giving me a mean mug, an angry face, a disrespectful look. Okay, that's what that means in slang. And I said, so, bitch, if you say I'm going down, that's another direction, down, that's up to me. So if I literally oppose your directions, then what's literally the opposite of down? That's going up. And also I'm saying the slang phrase that someone is going down, that means you are going to lose. You're going down, that means you're going to lose. And I'm saying that's up to me, because I have a choice if I win or lose. I have a choice if I'm going down in a battle. It's up to me. I get to choose. Everything is up to me. Okay, I'm the end-all be-all decision maker for my life. So that is up to me, but also up is the opposite of down, opposing directions. So that is just a very dope way of saying, I don't care what orders you give me, it ain't happening, and I'm not going down because I oppose those directions, and it's up to me if I go down or not. Continuing here, okay? The lyrics. You should have just freestyled yourself if you were confidently ready for me. Remember, folks, he's trying to show me the ropes. If I failed to hang with him, that would be a breaking news story. Okay, so this one is a double literal meaning, and this one was back in 2014 or 2015 possibly. And this line is, okay, I'm saying that, you know what, if you were so confident that you could beat me, why did you have to write in the first place? Why did you have to prepare? Why couldn't you just freestyle, since you're so claimly so great and I'm so claimly so bad? So I'm just trying to poke more holes in his logic and feed the audience some information to, hopefully get them on my side at the end, okay? As this was a fantasy battle to the death. Anyways, so a saying is for someone to show me the ropes. That's a saying. It means, okay, so they're going to show me how things are done. They're going to show me the procedure. They're going to show me how this works, blah, 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 okay? But almost, if it was literal ropes, okay, that would be a noose if it was to try and hang me. The ropes to hang somebody is a noose, N-O-O-S-E. But if I failed to hang, then it would be a breaking noose story, as in the noose would be broken. It would break. It would come apart, because then I obviously failed to hang because the noose didn't stay up and choke me to death and asphyxiate me to the point of losing oxygen and dying. But also, if I failed to hang with him, it would be a surprise. So it would be breaking news. Breaking news is common slang that just means it was a shocking story that you would report on, okay? So breaking news story, or my rope broke that was supposed to hang me, literally hang me, so it'd be a breaking news story. So just a dope double literal meaning here. All right, continuing on here and mentioning the line I just said, okay? Speaking of breaking news, that punchline was amazing, yes? Now, since that punch was fire, if I just stopped rapping and punched you, your face would be hot off the press. Okay, so this is dope, and this line, I believe, goes back to 2016, I'm pretty sure, from mine. Anyways, yep, so I'm saying, I mentioned what I just said about the breaking news story, double meaning, and I said, speaking of breaking news, that punchline I just said was amazing, yes? As in I'm asking the crowd to confirm, yeah, I'm talented, right? And I said, now, since that punch was fire, and to say a punch was fire is hip-hop slang. That means that a punchline was talented. Punch was fire. That's what that means. And so it also, if I'm saying fire literally, okay, I said I should just stop rapping now and punch you, your face would be hot off the press. Okay, to get pressed means to get hit. Okay, so I'm saying that your face would be hot off the press if my punch was fire, if my punch was literally on fire, heated, hot, and I hit your face would be then what? Hot. Off of what? Off of the press that just happened, the getting hit by me. And also, breaking news, another common term, or excuse me, a common phrase for breaking news in the media news reporting slang is the words hot off the press, which means brand new, breaking news, new information to report on. So it's just a double implied meaning, not a literal, but just a double implied meaning there. Play on words, going on about breaking news and bringing it into saying hot off the press. Very talented, and, you know, it's just a dope way of pretending to freestyle in this instance to show that, damn, I'm coming up with punchlines too, and I'm, you know, trying to kick your ass with them. Okay, continue on here. Okay, I said, he thinks I just look like him and have no talent of my own. Y'all knew this guy was a damn liar. Cloned yourself just for a video. Sounds to me like, to be famous, you do everything under the sun like a suicidal vampire. Okay, so I'm saying that the original Adam Stark thinks all I have that he has is the same looks and nothing else of my own. And I'm saying you guys know this guy is lying about that. And I said, wow, this is pathetic. You cloned yourself. You literally did a breakthrough in science just to make a video. I said, wow. I said, that's pretty sad. That's pathetic. And I'm saying, you know what that sounds like, in my opinion? That you would do literally anything to be famous. And a common slang saying is that you would do everything under the sun. And then what that means is you would do whatever it takes to do blank, whatever it is. And I'm saying that to be famous, in this instance, you would do everything under the sun. And who else would do something? Who else would do everything under the sun? In this hypothetical simile, a suicidal vampire. Because in mythology, vampires cannot survive under sunlight. So if a vampire was suicidal, then they would be under the sun to die. That's what they would do, everything they can to be under the sun, and they do everything under the sun to die, because they'd be suicidal in this example. And I'm saying, so that's what you would do to be famous. You would do whatever it takes. Even clone yourself for a frickin' video. I'm saying that's sad, that's pathetic, and it's like, wow, you would do all that just to become famous. That's pretty bad. So I am, as the clone, dissing the original Adam Stark and saying, wow, that's pretty sad, and hopefully the crowd takes notice of what I'm saying. Continuing here. Shit, look, I should be suicidal, greatly, and everyone watching should be concerned, gravely, because I have you to thank for the out-of-shape body and horrible hairline you gave me. This is a funny line, but is also a very, very talented line for a few reasons, okay? For one, I'm saying this to the original Adam Stark, and ask yourself this, audience, could the original Adam Stark have said this to the clone? Could he have made fun of the clone for his appearance? No, he couldn't have, because that would come right back and hurt himself, right? Because how would you diss your clone when that would be because of you, of the clone's looks and the clone's weight and everything else, okay? The clone's physical faults would be your fault because you were the clone's origination, okay? So it wouldn't have worked that way. Now, I made it work for the clone's sake. I'm saying, look, you know what? You're right. I should be suicidal, and greatly, but the only reason is because you gave me a horrible, out-of-shape body and this horrible hairline that I'm bald and I shouldn't be and I hate it and stuff like that. I'm saying, yeah, I should be suicidal, but it's your fault. It's because you gave me this crappy body, okay, in this instance. And no, I'm not. I don't actually feel that way about myself, in case anybody's getting emotional and thinking about that. No, I am perfectly happy, okay? But it's a dope thing for a dope concept that I realize. Just look at this psychologically. Like I said, my original me couldn't have said this to my clone, but my clone can say it to the original and make it work, okay? So it's just a very creative way of writing tailor-made lyrics that only appear to this situation. Continuing on here, okay? To be famous for anything at all, you go about it in the weirdest ways. Instead of making a clone, if you really wanted to see yourself shine, just bring a flashlight in a mirror maze. I'm saying, okay, to be famous, Mr. Original Adam Stark, you go about it in just a strange fashion. I mean, damn, like it's a shock, okay? And I'm saying, wow, instead of, again, making a breakthrough in science and making a clone, for God's sake, if you wanted to see yourself shine, that's slang. That means to see yourself become famous for something and to prosper. Just bring a flashlight in a mirror maze. And that's a line from 2014, I believe, that of mine, okay? Now, to be able to see yourself shine, literally like shine as in light illuminating, you would, in a mirror maze, you are surrounded on all sides by mirrors. That's what a mirror maze is. So no matter what direction you look, 360 degrees, you will see a mirror, which is obviously going to have what? Your reflection. And so if you brought a flashlight in a mirror maze, then you would literally see yourself shine more than any other possible way, because you are going to see yourself shine in a 360-degree direction anywhere you look, because you're going to have your flashlight shining. And in every direction you look, there's a mirror showing that. So that's how you'd see yourself shine. And I'm saying that's a way you could see yourself be famous and prosper, as in that version of shine. And it's just a dope comparison, okay? Anyways, continuing on here. Okay, this is a line that I'd made just a few weeks prior to this video. I made this one line here with all of the same sounding words and fractions of words, because I made another fast rap, which was the first time of doing a fast rap dissing myself. Now, in the video here, I did not rap this very fast. Reason being, I wanted it to sound like I was freestyling all of this part, okay, as I am this entire verse of this round of this fantasy battle. But anyways, so this is what I said here. I wish I could turn the three-worded term whack as shit into an actual adjective and patent it as a dramatic attack to plaster Adam's ass with, attached with an ampersand, adding to command and demand that any man that happens to have called him an antonym will be quarantined and for it deemed hazardous for the bad opinion that was said, and have it crammed back in his head as fast as a sled, but also damaged as if it had crashed on a bench, battered and snapped off his neck, till which that man would be dead, damn it. So what that is saying is that I wish I could invent a new word, like let's bring this word, let's make it official in the dictionary and everything, okay? And we would call it whack as shit, except make it one word. And we would make it a real, actual, real-life, official adjective. And the adjective for my new word, whack as shit, would be something that I would patent as my own invention, and it would be an attack to attach to Adam Stark. It would attach to Adam's ass, and not my literal ass, I'm saying, but it's Adam's ass. That's slang. That means it would go to, himself would be where the diss implies, and the new adjective. And I'm saying not only is it a diss, saying that Whack as shit describes how whack Adam Stark is. But it's also attached with more than just that. It is also attached with an ampersand, which is the and symbol, and, okay, adding to command, which mean and to command and demand, which means that anyone that happens to call Adam Stark an antonym, which means the opposite of whack, which means if anybody praises Adam Stark or says something good about him or says something about him being talented or skilled, which is an antonym, the opposite, that person will be quarantined. You know what the word quarantined means? That means they are labeled sick, they are taken apart from the rest of society, and they are surrounded by yellow tape, and they are not allowed to leave that designated area and everything. And for that reason, they will also be deemed hazardous just for the bad opinion that they said. Bad opinion being anybody that thinks Adam Stark is not whack. That is now going to be considered a hazard and a bad opinion. And for that reason, additionally, okay, for having that bad opinion, they will have those words, they will eat their words, which is a slang that means, you know, you're going to regret saying that. And that bad opinion is going to be crammed back in his head, and they're going to be told by force, you don't say stuff like that. You don't say Adam Stark is talented. And not only will that be done, but it'll be done as fast as a sled, because a sled is fast. You associate sledding with fast motion, going down a hill of snow. And not only that, but a fast sled, and also damaged, as if that person's going to get damaged, as if a sled crashed onto a bench, and it battered and snapped off that person's neck so hard to the point that which that man would then be dead. So that is going to be the new term, the adjective, to describe how whack Adam Stark, and is also saying that anybody who is not in compliance with this is going to be severely punished to death, because that is how strong of an opinion it's going to become, okay? So just a very funny, talented way of adding a bunch of same-sounding words and saying how horrible this clone hates the originator, okay? All right, continuing on here. Sadly, I'm whipping your ass without knowing no info. In a rap battle, I get personal. Bars remind you of backyard baseball. Hits close to home. This is a dope line. This is from a rap called Too Many Bars, and this is from 2013 of mine. Okay, in a rap battle, I get personal. And the phrase hits close to home, that means you are saying something that is very personal to somebody, that really makes them feel something. They have emotional regrets towards whatever the subject at hand was, okay? But also, hits is hits is slang in baseball. That means you successfully hit the ball and it wasn't a foul ball. You made it into the outfield somewhere at some point when you physically hit the ball. That's a hit in baseball. And if you're playing backyard baseball, that means you're playing baseball close to a house. And a house is synonymous with a home. So you are doing hits, baseball hits, close to home, because I said backyard baseball. That one's pretty obvious, but it's very dope. I love that line. Definitely one of my favorite lines I've ever written. So I'm saying, damn, I don't know anything about you except what I'm rapping about this instant, and I'm getting personal here, and they ought to remind you of backyard baseball, because backyard baseball, you have baseball hits that are close to home, the house, and also getting personal with are things that hits close to home. Just a very dope double meaning there, okay? Continuing here. For example, I don't have any of your bad memories or regrets. I would have stayed in shape and kept my body toned too. If I'd have a go at my own chance, I would have lost my virginity years before you. So this is a very dope rebuttal, especially in the moment, if this was a real battle, of course. I'm saying, you know, you're not realizing how bad that you suck, Mr. Adam Stark, because I, as the clone, I don't have any of your bad memories or your bad regrets. I don't have any of those, and you do. You live with those. I don't live with anything bad in my memory, in my mind. And not only that, if I had my own chance to live from scratch at age 0, I would have kept my body in shape, and it'd be toned. I'd be tough. I'd be jacked. I'd be muscular and everything. And to add even more insult to that, I said, yeah, you bragged about, technically, since I was just born now, me being a 25-year-old virgin. Well, I don't know when you lost yours, but I would have lost my virginity years before you. So I'm saying, you know what? Those insults you're saying about me, they don't work. They don't make any sense, because I'm saying you just did stupid life decisions, whereas me personally, as the clone, I would have made better decisions, and I would have been a lot more successful than you. So think about just how crazy that is. Now, at this point in the matchup, who are you agreeing with? Are you agreeing with the original Adam Stark, saying, damn, since you were just created, there is technically proof that you are a 25-year-old virgin, and that cannot be denied? Or and that's so evil to say. It's like, pure evil. Or are you going to agree with the clone and say, yeah, that's what you think, but that's only because I did not have my own chance at a life. And if I did have my own chance at a life, I'd be a lot better than you. So whose side are you on? It's a very dope concept. I'm really glad that I went with. Okay, let's continue on here. I'm not about to ramble about my dick like you did, you fucking punk. I'll rip you apart like pumpkin guts. You must have failed sex ed if you don't know where I'm coming from. Okay, so this line here, okay, the last line, you must have failed sex ed if you don't know where I'm coming from. That line is from a few years ago. I want to say, man, I don't know, around 2015. I know it's on there. I know for sure, but I just can't think of which rap it was specifically of mine. But anyways, you can look it up on YouTube. It is verified and time-stamped. Anyways, sorry. So, I'm saying, I'm not going to do what you did. I'm not going to talk about my dick, which is what you did, and I'm saying it was awkward and shouldn't have been done. I'm saying, screw that. I'm not going to ramble about that. And I'm saying, I'll rip you apart, which is like a violent way of saying I'm just going to tear you limb from limb. But I'm also saying a very dope simile. I'm saying like pumpkin guts. What do you do with a pumpkin when you carve them? You rip the guts out literally. So that's how badly I'm going to do your body. And then I'm saying, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm saying you must have failed sex ed if you don't know where I'm coming from. Because a saying you don't know where I'm coming from means like you have no idea what I'm talking about. You don't know my perspective on this particular subject. But also, if you failed sex ed, then you literally wouldn't know the slang coming. You wouldn't know where I am ejaculating from. You wouldn't know where sperm is coming out of. If you failed sex ed, you wouldn't know that. It's okay. I know it sounds funny, but it's true. Okay. All right. Continuing on here. Now I said I'm making an assumption about Adam Stark here because this is what the clone would do. So I'm saying, okay, and this line is from 2014 from a rap called My Shot. He probably treats girls like objects. Guessing you're like a pimp for broke women, but couldn't win a dumb fight with knowledge. I get it. He's a homeless homewrecker. That's the only reason people would say he kickboxes. Okay, so here's why this line is dope, okay? So I'm saying there's a difference between someone being a pimp, an actual pimp, and somebody being somebody who just takes advantage of women that are broke and have no other choice. That's my perspective, personally. Not the clone, I'm saying. That's my literal perspective. Is a pimp is somebody who's making hard living, hard dollars for their horrible, immoral job that they have. But I'm saying a pimp for broke women, to me, that's like a fake pimp. That's just like, well, the woman's broke, they have no other choice, you're just taking advantage of those reasons. Anyways, I'm saying that's probably what you are. You're probably like somebody, I'm dissing him in new ways, original Adam Stark. I'm saying that's probably what you're like. You probably treat women like objects and stuff. And I'm saying, but you know what? A dumb fight. You couldn't win a dumb fight, which means a random fight that occurred for particularly unintelligent reasons. I'm saying you couldn't win a dumb fight with knowledge. If you had knowledge, how are you going to lose to something against something dumb, no matter what it's going up against? If you had knowledge, you still couldn't win a dumb fight? That's pretty pathetic, okay? I'm saying you couldn't do that. Oh, but I get it now. I said he's a homeless homewrecker. That's the only reason people would say he kickboxes. So I'm saying that Adam Stark cannot fight. I'm saying that specifically. And I'm saying the only reason people would say he kickboxes, and that is to say someone kickboxes, that is the art, the martial art fighting, sport where you can kick and you can punch in the boxing arena. Okay, and I'm saying, okay, the only reason people would associate Adam Stark with saying, oh, he kickboxes, is if they're saying he was literally kicking a box because he was trying to wreck a homeless person's house. And we associate homeless people's houses with cardboard boxes. And so if he is literally a homeless person's home wrecker, then he would be kicking their boxes, kickboxes. But I'm also saying that if you are being a pimp for broke women, and a broke women you associate with them being homeless, then you are a homeless homewrecker because you are ruining their relationships, those broke women's relationships, by pimping them out. So you're a homewrecker, because a homewrecker in slang means you are getting involved in someone's relationship and ruining it. So I'm saying you're a homeless homewrecker in a double meaning way. You are ruining their literal house, their cardboard box, by kicking it, and that's the only reason people would say, oh, Adam Stark kickboxes, because he literally kicks homeless people's boxes in this rap, okay? And also I'm saying, well, you know what? He is ruining these homeless broke women's relationships as a homewrecker in that sense. Okay, so basically saying, yep, Adam Stark cannot fight, and this is how I'm saying it in a very talented way. Continuing on here, and this line here is from a rap that goes all the way back to 2013, and this is from a rap called Harsh Life Lessons. Okay, and this is, you're probably a failure to your parents of some sort. I'll teach you a lesson as this ass whooping has come forth. Stop acting like you're some gangster drug lord. You need to unleash your brain's untapped potential. Be done packing pistols before one last essential gun blast could end you. 'Cause you run past this info, you dumbass resentful punk. Learn that some bad peripherals could end you sunk back in drug traffic central, where no father could bring his son back from his doom. So this is deep. This is me taking a line that I wrote years ago in 2013, and I'm revamping it as if I was talking to myself. I am taking like a critique. I'm taking a stand that somebody could say about me if they wanted to. They could say, you know what I don't like about you? I hate that you're doing all this fictional violent stuff and you're not violent in real life. And when you say stuff like that, you're acting like you're a gangster. You're acting like you're a drug lord, Mr. Stark, but you're really not, blah, blah, blah. And so here's what I would say to him, and this is what the clone is saying. So he's saying, okay, that's enough. You know, you need to just quit it. And I'm also saying to Adam Stark, the original, that you might just be a failure to your parents or something. And I'm saying, listen here. I'm saying you need to stop acting like you're some gangster drug lord, okay? And the reason is, if you're acting like you're part of that life, you know what's going to happen? Then eventually it's going to come back to you. Whereas, okay, if you are going to be like this gangster drug lord, well, what happens to them? They get shot. They don't just do all the shooting. They get shot. They get shot at. And you don't realize also that once you start drugs, it is not going to end well. And what you're going to do is you are going to become in such a doom that no father could bring their son back from. It's going to be that bad of a doom to do drugs, okay, and to get involved in drug dealing and stuff. Your life is going to be ruined to the point of doom that it's going to be irreversible damage. So I'm saying all of that is going to happen. And so it's just a very deep emotional plea to saying you need to stop this, and you're making yourself look ridiculous. Stop acting like you're this gangster drug lord person, okay? And so this line is dope because it's something dope that the clone said against the original, and it applies better to him because he's one with a whole career of lyrics and such. And this line is also dope to anybody that is an Adam Stark hater out there, because they could basically say the same thing, only I said it better. So I get the last laugh, technically. But very talented either way. Continuing on here. Okay. You wouldn't know what to do with a gun anyway. Here's a few reminders. You mentioned knives as your weapon, not firearms. You decided to make me into the target to try to neutralize it, but you equipped a crude appliance. For a gunfight, I wish you were wiser. Besides, if you did have a gat, you'd walk around with the full clip board. I'd think you were a supervisor. Okay, this is very dope. Now, the last line there is a line from a rap I did a few years ago. I believe it was 2015. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it was 2015 from my rap called Proliferation. Okay, so this is saying, this is very dope. I love the way I worded this and rhymed this. I'm saying, okay, you know what's crazy? I said, you wouldn't know what to do with a gun. Even if you were this gangster drug lord, you wouldn't know what to do with it. And as a reminder, you used knives primarily as your weapon in your round in this very battle. You decided to do that. And as you were trying to kill me, okay, you equipped a crude appliance, which is a fancy way of saying you equipped a knife. Knives go back eons ago. They go back, centuries ago there was knives used as weapons. And for a gunfight, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. That's a saying. Okay, I'm saying for a gunfight, I would wish that you were just wiser. And I'm saying even if you did have a gun, you would never shoot the gun at all because that you don't have it in you to shoot a gun. So what you would do is walk around with the full clip board, because if you have a full clip and you're just not shooting anything, you'd be bored. So I'm saying you would walk around with a gun that's fully loaded, full clip of ammunition, bored, because you wouldn't be having fun. And then I say, with comedic timing, I say with a full clipboard, I'd think you were a supervisor, because a full clip space board or the word clipboard sound exactly the same. And what do people do that walk around with a clipboard? The first thing you'd think of is a supervisor. So I'm saying if you were just walking around with a full clipboard, then what would I think of you as? A supervisor. Okay, and it's also just a fancy way of saying, you know what, you're not shooting anybody. So you're ruining the whole point of saying that you're this gangstery drug lord person in your raps. Okay, and for the record, I don't ever, just time out for a second from the battle. In any of my raps, I do fictional violence all the time. It's because I look at hip-hop as a competition, and I always will. I'm going to have the better on the attack, on the offensive punchlines than the next person will, okay? And I'm saying, and I never, ever stated, ever, in any of my raps, that I was some drug lord or that I was some gangster. Just to be clear, I can understand if people are going to misconstrue it that way. That's another thing, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. But just for the record, I never said any words like that, because that would be disrespectful, in my personal opinion. Okay, continuing on here. Okay, now this is philosophies that I come up with, okay? Okay, so I'll continue with the lyrics here. What's even worse to me is I bet he only learned how to freestyle in case of emergencies. Okay, before I continue, this is my angle time. This is when I created an angle to use against the original Adam Stark. This is going to be big points for the clones half of the battle. Is he saying, you know what? I bet you this Adam Stark guy who loves hip-hop so much, he probably didn't even learn how to freestyle just to be great. He probably did it just so he could get out of situations where his mouth got him in trouble, and he'd have to think of words to say in the moment to get himself out of it. So listen to this angle, okay? Continuing here. Like if a lawyer plays the jury a tape recording of you in court, then you'd quickly freestyle your way out of it to distort it. They'd play the tape that had your voice saying, yeah, I shot the snitch in the face, 'cause he's a major cunt. He could deliberately, instantly think of thee, rhymes through a bullshit epiphany. Mr. Stark, how do you respond? He'd be freestyling while he's crying and spiraling like, I didn't say, yeah, I shot that snitch in the face, 'cause he's a major cunt. I said, grab my chocolates in the bag, the peanut-flavored ones. All of a sudden, the next audio tape comes out. His voice saying, 15 kilos of cocaine I sold at the neighborhood family diner. Once again, Mr. Stark, how do you respond? he would stumble and stutter, fluttering out the words, "Oh, I never said 15 kilos of cocaine I sold at the neighborhood family diner. I really said, get me 3 loads of gourmet rice bowls, add cheese, and waiter, do you have any wine, sir?" All right, let me stop right there. For one thing, this is kind of funny, I made an error. I made a mistake in the actual performance. For some reason, instead of saying, get me 3 loads of gourmet rice bowls, add cheese, and waiter, do you have any wine, sir? For some reason, I said, and it still works, so that's why I'm not upset. It's just funny to me. I actually said in the performance of the video, get me 3 loads of gourmet rice bowls, add cheese, add water, and do you have any wine, sir? For some reason, I don't know why the words came out that way, and it was just funny because it still worked. It didn't ruin the line or anything. It still applied. It was that, but anyways, I just wanted to mention that, but here's the angle. I'm saying, you know what? This is what Adam Stark really created his freestyling for. This is my fictional angle. He didn't freestyle so he could brag about it and say, yeah, I'm so talented, I'm amazing, I'm a great artist, I'm a performer. No. He did that because if he ever got in trouble and in court they played an audio recording of him saying incriminating statements, he could bullshit his way through, lying through his teeth, being able to rhyme perfectly as he can. He would just instantly think of words that rhyme with the sentence that was given in his voice, and he could say, no, I actually said this instead. And then I give ridiculous examples on purpose because it's going to make it that much worse. It's going to be like, okay, yeah, it rhymed perfectly, sure, but that isn't what somebody would have heard you saying and then caught it on an audio tape to bring it into court as evidence. So it's just very funny. I made these rhyme perfectly, okay? You know, what rhymes perfectly with, yeah, I shot the snitch in the face because he's a major cunt? Perfectly what rhymes with that is, I said, grab my chocolates in the bag, the peanut-flavored ones. And then there's the second example. They rhyme perfectly. Every syllable matches up so that they rhyme perfectly. The second example would have rhymed perfectly if I actually said, and waiter, do you have any wine, sir? But for some reason I said add water, as in add water to my order. I guess I was subliminally thirsty and I just said it. I don't know. It was just kind of a funny little backstory. But anyways, so I'm saying, no. He didn't freestyle for legitimate reasons. No. He learned how to freestyle because he's a coward. In my point of view, my perspective, my diss, my angle, is that he learned to freestyle to get out of problems like these. Just he needed to do this as an escape, as a scapegoat, as a way to say, no, wait, but that's not what happened. You heard me wrong, and since I'm a perfect freestyler, I will just come up with the words right away in 1 moment flat and tell you what I want to tell you that rhymes exactly 100% with what you said, so I can have enough of a reason to say, nope, you heard me wrong. See, it sounds exactly the same. So it's my word against yours. You heard me wrong. This is the case. It's just a funny, hilarious angle, but it's a very dope angle, because you ever heard an angle like that? I sure haven't, and I invented it for this video. I'm saying, dang, everyone else learns how to freestyle because they enjoy it. They enjoy the art of it, the passion of it. They enjoy the bragging rights of it. And to be able to, expose themselves online and show, hey, look how talented I am. I'm saying not him. I'm saying the original Adam Stark. Nope, he did it because he was scared. He was a coward. He wanted to be able to get out of situations where there was problems with incriminating words found about him, So it's just a crazy angle that I was so happy that I ended up going with. And it gets worse in a good way. Let me continue here. Okay. See, what I'm saying is he didn't learn to freestyle to be the best MC. He freestyled as a necessity, as a self-defense mechanism used for protection needs. This ass-whooping is your fault. You're creating disdain. The only thing you're best at is being a king in pain. Okay, so this is mentioning what I just said, that he didn't learn how to freestyle for normal reasons. No. He did it because he needed a self-defense mechanism for his own protection, okay? And I'm saying, this is your fault. You're getting your ass whooped. You created me, and you're going to get your ass whipped because you created me. And I said, The only thing you're being best at is being a king in pain. Being a king is being the best here at the highest level. And I'm saying, I'm trying to trick him with wordplay. I'm saying the only thing you're best at is being a king in pain. You're aching. You're physically aching. You have aches, and you're in pain from those aches. And you thought I was going to say you are being a king, as in I'm giving you a compliment. I'm saying, yeah, you're the ruler of the land. Nope, I'm saying you're, because I have comedic timing, I have a pause. I'm saying the only thing you're best at is being aching in pain. Not a king. You are just aching in pain. They sound exactly the same. And that the wording is different, but the double meaning from that derives from my rap called Rap is an Artifact, made just a few months before this. Okay, anyways, continuing on here. Since I'm here against my will, I've decided to change his future, commit dangerous, heinous crimes, and easily frame this loser. At the crime scene, I'll leave used cigarettes with my fingerprints, and they'll think it's just ignorance. Okay, so this is very dope. This is another angle I'm taking. I'm saying, listen to this angle, guys, this freestyle angle I'm coming up with, and I thought this was very dope. You know what? I'm going to embrace the fact that I look 100% like you, and I am physically 100% identical to you. So then I'm going to commit a bunch of dangerous crimes. And I'm going to do it sloppily where I will get caught because I'll leave used cigarettes, which will contain my DNA, residue and everything. And I will have my fingerprints all over wherever I'm doing for my crime. So you know what? I will easily get you caught since we're identical, 100% clones of each other. You know what? You are going to get all the blame for this because I'm going to commit these crimes. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to go to the person whose DNA and fingerprints it matches, which is going to be you, me as well technically, but they don't know I exist. I'm a clone. So you are going to be the one who takes the fall for this. I thought that was a very, very dope concept. And then I continue this here with a triple literal meaning that this was written all the way back in 2013, I believe, with I Am a Winner. 2013 or 2014, but from my rap called I'm a Winner. You'll be minutes away from serving a long prison sentence, living with a skinny cellmate. All you'd lift is a small dumbbell. That's heavy time with a light weight. Triple meaning, bitch. So this one, again, this is one of my favorite. This is a triple literal meaning, okay? I'll also do with the last words, lightweight, okay? It is a light weight, which means your waiting time, the time that you actually have to sit there and wait and, just keep on pausing and, be prepared as the delays and everything goes on with litigation and getting yourself into prison. It's almost time. I said in the setup, you'll be minutes away from serving a long prison sentence, and that a light wait is slang that means that it is minutes away, okay? So that's a lightweight. And the second one is you'll be living with a skinny cellmate. A skinny cellmate. A skinny human being is going to be in the lightweight category of weights. There is many different categories of weights. Are they going to be in a middleweight? Are they going to be in a heavyweight? No. If they are a skinny person, they're going to be in a lightweight. And I'm also in that category. And the third literal meaning is I said specifically in the setup, all you'd lift is a small dumbbell. And that is a lightweight. A weight that you lift. And that what kind of a category is that weight that you lift? A light weight. And heavy time, that's slang for going to prison for a while. So that's what you're going to have. Heavy time with a light weight. 3 meanings. Okay? So a triple literal meaning, and I'm bragging about it because this was supposedly supposed to be a freestyle in this fantasy rap battle. So I'm like, I just said all that and a triple meaning. And then I continue on the next line here. Set myself up to fall, but he gets involved in a trip. Same difference. But to everyone else, you won't be able to pretend that your face is innocent like Abe Lincoln's. Okay, so first of all, the innocent Abe Lincoln line, that is a line from 2013 from Jay Pacifica's Cypher verse. I wrote a verse that was going to go on a cipher for my good friend and fellow MC Jay Pacifica. at the time, and so I wrote a verse for a cipher, and I used that line, and that was at the very end of the rhyme. Anyways, so I said, set myself up to fall, but he gets involved in a trip. Same difference. Now, I'm setting myself up to fall, which means I am framing myself because I'm a clone in this example. So I am leaving incriminating evidence at the crime scene. Like I said, fingerprints, DNA evidence. I'm setting myself up to fall, to go to prison. But since that is what's going to happen to the original Adam Stark, since no one else knows there's a clone of me, then he's the one who's going to get involved in a trip. Now, fall and trip, those are synonymous, but with a trip he's going to take is going to be to prison. And I'm saying same difference. Setting myself up to fall, that means Adam Stark original is going to take the trip to prison. Same difference. Okay? What I do to me, or in setting evidence against myself, what I'd set up myself as the clone, it's going to happen to Adam. So it's the same difference. And I said, but to everyone else, as in the rest of the world witnessing, you won't be able to pretend that your face is innocent like Abe Lincoln's. Innocent and the three-word conjunction in a cent sound exactly the same. To be innocent means to be not guilty. And in a cent, guess whose face is innocent? In a cent, in a penny, a 1 cent, is Abe Lincoln's face. President Abraham Lincoln's face. Okay? And nobody is going to be able to pretend that your face, Adam Stark, that your face is innocent or your face is not guilty. And comparing that by saying nobody's going to be able to pretend that your face is the face of an innocent person who did no crime with all the evidence as the clone identical to you, I'm going to leave. Okay, no one's going to be able to pretend that you have an innocent face anymore, as if it was like Abraham Lincoln's face, whose face is literally innocent. Okay, continuing now, this is the ending. Enough is enough. You got what you deserved when you challenged me. You created a human being just to battle me. That's so fucking sad to see. You've probably brought in rotten notoriety to your accomplices, friends, and faculty. Big shame, disdain, immense pain to your family. They should be hollering at you, saying, stop dreaming and come back to the real world. This is damaging. But you're scared of the real world, and you'd rather be putting yourself in front of a camera screen for some fantasy. Maybe for you, having a split mind is exciting, but you live in too much of a two-faced reality. I love that ending. I absolutely love it. And as I said before, I purposely made the ending on the clones rap better by far, because it was the last part of the battle, the last of the lyrics of the video. Okay, so therefore I wanted it to have a better impact, because at the ending of a movie, the ending of a book, the ending of a battle, whatever it is, I'd like the ending, of course, to be memorable. I want it to be a great ending. So I had a huge fake crowd reaction implemented at the end of that. So what this is saying, this is addressing the literal thing that is going on, addressing the entire video, basically, in the third person. I'm saying, my God, you are so pathetic. You are so sad and despicable. You literally made a clone because you can't even face reality. It's so sad to see you created a human being, which should be a monumental accomplishment, but you did that just to battle me, to get onto some stupid fantasy of yours. You did all of that. You created a human being. You broke down the barriers of medical science, and you didn't even do it for a real important purpose. You did it for a stupid, selfish, dumb purpose of creating some fame for yourself and to find out what would happen in this fantasy battle of yours for some stupid video only. And I'm like, wow, I bet you know what? You have brought in rotten notoriety to your accomplices, friends, and faculty. Big shame, disdain, immense pain to your family, as in, like, nobody that knows you as a friend, acquaintance, or family member or a coworker is going to be happy with you. They're going to hate this fact that you wasted such a useful possible invention of a cloning device to use it for yourself for just a dumb little video project. I'm saying that is pretty bad. So I'm, as the clone, addressing everything literally going on. No longer is this as figurative as it was a minute ago and the rest of the rap. I'm saying this whole project is such an epic fail and so sad. And so the viewers watching this battle now should be like, damn, I am watching this, and damn, he did make an entire video of him with the clone just for a battle. And I'm like, am I thinking the same thing too? As an audience member on YouTube, am I thinking, wow, this really is pretty sad that he did all this just for this video to be made? That is pretty sad. So either they're going to agree with the clone's words there, or they're going to look at it in a different perspective and simply say, well, if he had the actual power and this is what he used it for, damn, that is pretty pathetic and pretty selfish and pretty stupid and not useful. And I'm saying, okay, and continuing here, I'm basically saying, as the clone in the ending, if you would do all of that, let's say this really did happen, you created a clone for this one stupid battle purpose, okay? You got to realize, Mr. Stark, that what you are doing is damaging. You are far from reality, far detached, and this is proof of it. And I'm saying you must be scared of the real world then, scared to apply yourself, and you'd rather be just in front of a camera doing this video just for some fantasy of yours. I'm saying that is pretty sad. That's pathetic. That is horrible. And I'm saying maybe you have a split mind, like a split personality, and maybe you love that. And the ending is just a great double meaning, not literal, but a great double meaning. I'm saying, you know what? As a clone, as somebody who is creating yourself to betray yourself, which really is showing a no pun intended, a reflection of how depressed you must be, then you are living in a two-faced reality, because that a two-faced reality is slang. That means you present yourself as one thing when you are really another. So you present yourself as a bragging, very talented person, when really you must have self-loathing issues. You must hate yourself. And I'm saying you live in a two-faced reality. And I end it in a dope way by saying the same thing again, to face reality. I'm saying, because as I mentioned, you are doing this video, this fake fantasy video, you're doing all of this because this is all that you have. You are nothing. You are dirt. You are zilch. You are insignificant. You did all of this for some stupid fantasy because you are too scared of the real world. You're too scared to face real life challenges and all the trials and tribulations that come with real life. And I'm saying, so you live in too much of this two-faced reality. You created yourself of that. I just said, too much of that to face reality, the real world. Very dope ending. I love it. I love the lyrics I made for this entire project. I'm very proud of this. This is definitely going to be one of my biggest projects I have ever done. If anybody wants any other questions for me, anything about my writing processes, any more meanings behind my lyrics, I'd love to help you out. I'll answer any questions you have. Just let me know. Message me or leave a comment. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. I'd love to do that and get more fame for this, despite every mean thing I just said about myself, narrating as the clone, of course. But all jokes aside, in reality, I love what I did here. I love this project. I think it's a very dope concept that would be cool to see what happened in real life for artists that are that have a lot of material that they have written and who can freestyle a ton, as I have proven on my many hours of freestyle footage online. So, like, I would love to see other people's work related to this, other responses to this, and technically it would be cool to see who would win between not just saying myself, but somebody who's a hardcore writer go against themselves as a hardcore freestyler. How would that work? Would you rely on angles? Would you rely on quick insults or current events insults or things such as that? You know, which would you do? Okay, so just let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear all feedback. And if anybody's wondering about who do I think won this, I have a hard time picking. I don't know yet. It's too early for me to decide personally. But as I said, I will say this. The angles were much better on the clone side, to me, by far. The technical skill was better by the original, by far. And the pertinent to the situation, I want to give a slight edge to the original Adam's Dark because, like I said, the clone lines, this duplicate up here, the copycat's traits, the mirror reflection, all that stuff was amazing, and it was only could do with the clone, no other situation in a battle. And like I said before, I'll say it again, I don't care how many times I say it, the ending is by far better on the clone side. Okay, and yes, that was purposely done, but still worth mentioning. Okay, let me know what you guys think, and those were the lyrics, and glad I could help you guys out. If you have anything else you want to ask me or want me to explain better, I would love to, so please let me know. Thank you for listening.